Namibia, and welcome back to the Government Information Center, this time around for another information sharing session under the flagship of offices, ministries, and agencies. This time I am joined in the studio by the Auditor General, Mr. Junius Etuna Kanjeke, and he and I will be keeping you company for the next hour or so. Now, Namibia, as is the norm, I'd like to just extend a warm invitation here to you, the lovely GIC viewers and listeners, within and beyond the borders of the Republic of Namibia, to be part of this discussion by following the conversation on our social media platforms, where we will be streaming this show live. Now, on Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Be part of this discussion and comment on our social media platforms where we are currently streaming this show live. Now, Mr. Kanjeke, good morning, sir, and welcome to the Government Information Center. We are humbled and honored to have you in studio this morning.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me to the Government Information Center.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, AG, as you are affectionately known, I want to find out from you, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, what is the mandate of the Office of the Auditor General?
The mandate of the Office of the Auditor General is in the Namibian Constitution, Article 127, where the Constitution stipulates that the Auditor General shall audit state revenue funds as requested by government or as per Act of Parliament, and report thereon to the National Assembly. The mandate covers the central government, which is the offices, the ministries, the agencies. It also covers the regional councils and also the financial statements for the local authorities. That means the municipalities, the towns, villages, and also state-owned enterprises, plus funds and boards of government. Right. That's mainly those institutions that we are auditing.
Okay, AG. Now, you have briefly touched on accountability, which I believe is one of the main values. I want to find out from you, in your view, what really does government accountability mean?
In my view, government accountability means that those institutions, the central government, including those who are leading those institutions, those who are also leading regional councils or local authorities and any other government institutions, are held accountable for their decisions. Right. And they must respond to the questions related to how they have used those resources, those public resources which were given to them.
All right. Now, building onto that, AG, I want to find out, in your experience, why is accountability not just a bureaucratic requirement? Because for some people, they regard it as such, but a cornerstone of trust between the government and its people.
To start with, the government is changed every 5 years. And the people go to elections to elect their leaders to represent them. So what is important now is that when government is collecting money from the taxpayers, that money should be authorized by their representatives in the National Assembly. Right. And also the National Council, maybe I can say in Parliament. As a result now, accountability plays a role that, yes, they should account, they should inform the taxpayers, who are the public, how those money were used. And then if the money was not used properly, they have to answer for that one, and action has to be taken.
All right. Staying on that, AG, you've earlier on mentioned accountability starts from the budget process, right? Now, I want to find out, AG, kindly walk us through how those early steps of from setting the budget, ceiling to allocation works, and how it influences transparency down the line.
The budget process is a very complicated engagement. Mm-hmm. It starts with estimating the expenditures based on the revenue, which is also estimated, mm-hmm. and then to indicate whether the estimated revenue will be enough. Mm-hmm. If it's not enough, government has to find a way to finance the difference or to ask those institutions to cut their expenditures or postpone them to another time. Mm-hmm. So it will now start with those estimates mm-hmm. taken to cabinet for approval. Once the ceilings, what we call ceilings, mm-hmm. are approved, that is just the money allocated. If it's approved, then the money is allocated to activities mm-hmm. based on strategic plans. Right. Some people want to hear maybe the word business plan, right. Which means what we are going to do. Mm-hmm. And then once you have now allocated your funds, they will be tabled in the National Assembly, and the National Assembly will approve those funds to be used by different institutions. That is basically the role that is played. Mm-hmm. So in the discussion there, in the National Assembly, it is public debate, it is public discussions, the ministers will ask their questions, mm-hmm. and then maybe the public will also send their representative to ask certain questions to a specific institution.
Okay. Now, AG, once the budget is approved, of course, there are always challenges involved. I want to find out from you what type of challenges typically then arises in ensuring that the implementations stays aligned with both the public expectations as well as that of the approved budget or plans.
The challenges in the implementation is normally to comply with the rules that are governing those financial transactions. And again, another challenge is to make sure that money allocated to a specific program is not diverted to another program without approval by Treasury. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the challenges. Mm-hmm. And then if there were other issues which were indicated previously, either by an audit or by some other committees of parliament, if they are not implemented, it can also be a challenge in terms of development.
Okay. Now, AG, of course, accountability, as you've mentioned it earlier, is not a one-man show, it's a collective effort. I want to find out from you, we've also seen that there are several players involved from Treasury, which is affectionately known as PAC, Public Accounts Committee. I want to find out, in your view, how well are these stakeholders, currently working together to ensure accountability is attained?
These stakeholders are many. As we indicated, there is Treasury, there is where the Accountant General is sitting. Mm-hmm. There are also the other institutions inside the systems, like the financial advisors, mm-hmm. the accounting officers, that are the EDs, mm-hmm. and then the Parliament, which is represented by the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Treasury should authorize all expenditures that has to be incurred by government institutions. Mm-hmm. The accounting officer, who is the ED of a ministry or office or an agency, yes. should make sure that those money are also accounted for and they are spent according to the intention that was set before approval by Parliament. Mm-hmm. And then you have the Public Accounts Committee, which will review the reports of the Auditor General after the budget has been implemented. If I can go further, is to indicate that inside institutions, there should be internal auditors,
Right.
and internal audit committees, and these functions are there to help the management on daily basis to show the gaps and to implement and to ensure that those recommendations are implemented, including recommendations from the Auditor General or from Parliament. Because the Auditor General is only going to come after a year, and those institutions like internal auditors, they are there permanently on daily basis.
All right. AG, drawing you back to a question I posted you a little bit earlier about the challenges that normally arises or surfaces. What do you presume the biggest gaps of coordination to be in those challenges, and how might those gaps be filled? How can they be filled?
The gaps, if I come to my line of function,
right.
if I see the gaps are mainly between the implementing agencies that are ministries, offices and agencies,
yes,
and then in the Parliament, recommendations. Because the Auditor General's recommendations becomes parliamentary recommendations once they are reviewed, and then sometimes they are combined and taken to government. Now to implement is a problem.
Right.
To violate rules, if we come to because we conduct different types of audit.
Yes.
Say we have conducted a compliance audit, and we have found that an institution have not complied with stipulated rules, and we made the recommendations which must be implemented. The gap is now how to enforce the implementation, because the very same institutions that are audited are the very same institutions who should enforce the implementation.
Right.
You're asking me now, how should it be done now?
Yes.
I think the best way is to have an implementation committee that follows how these recommendations were implemented, and also be given power to take action. In some jurisdictions, they have given power to the Auditor General to surcharge, that is to fine or to impose sanctions
yes.
on institutions if they have not implemented those recommendations. And if I can answer that question on what should be done, we have started with a bill, which is already with the Minister of Finance, which is about to be tabled in Parliament. It's giving some powers to the Auditor General. It will also give some powers to those who are charged with accountability, and also those who are charged with oversight.
Okay. Now, AG, I'm intrigued to, I'm interested to know, have there ever been times where you have to impose sanctions to non-compliance institutions, and perhaps can you just enlighten us what some of those sanctions were?
In fact, maybe let me make something clear. The Auditor General is the long arm of Parliament,
right,
which is made up of people's representatives. And then now, when I go there, I don't become a player and the referee.
Right.
I collect the findings, I give the opinions, I make recommendations to be implemented.
Right.
The institutions that should take actions are those who have employed those people who have violated the law.
Okay.
Meaning, if it is in the public service, we have the Public Service Act. The Public Service Act stipulates things which should be done by public servants and things that cannot be done, and the procedures. There is also a code of conduct. If I can just go deep a bit there,
yes,
to say there are major offenses, there are minor offenses. If there are major offenses, a person can even be called for a hearing, a contact hearing, or can even be dismissed or relieved from their duties. That action has to be taken by the appointing authority.
All right.
And then, but we have seen also either people moved from one institution to another or relieved from their duties, but not directly by the Auditor General, but by the appointing authority.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for that clarity, AG. I wanted to find out, AG, now that there is a bill on the table, I think you've mentioned it's with Ministry of Finance at the moment. How do you think that is going to help you in implementing what you need to implement as per your mandate, the Auditor General?
The bill is aligned to international standards and practices, and we don't want to lag behind. Once approved, many other things that are not happening now will happen.
Right.
For example, you have the Auditor General who is independent in terms of the Constitution. The Constitution says the Auditor General shall not be a member of the public service.
Right.
I'm not a public servant.
Okay.
I don't sit in Parliament, I don't sit in Cabinet, and so on. But my staff from the ED in my office, they are all public servants, meaning you have staff appointed on approval of the public service to audit the public service.
Right.
It can be a conflict of interest.
Yes.
And then once we have now this law and is approved the way it is, the institution will be independent from the public service. And then we will now be appointing the staff as also the Auditor General without going to the public service for recommendation and so on. And the other thing maybe what I can also indicate is that the Auditor General is in office full-time.
Right.
There is no provision for someone to act
on your behalf.
On behalf of the Auditor General.
Right.
Because that person should not be a public servant. So the deputy, who is an ED, can also not act when the Auditor General is not there, because he's a public servant and the Constitution prohibits that. So what we have now put in the law is that there will be an Auditor General, there will also be a person acting when the Auditor General is maybe on leave or not there.
Okay.
So in that, once the staffs are not public servants, then we comply with the Constitution. Anyone can now act and will have the very same power like the Auditor General.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarity, AJ. It is really very highly appreciated. Now, Namibia, if you are just tuning in, you are tuned into an OMAS, which means Offices, Ministries and Agencies Information Sharing Session. And as always, we are coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio here in the heart of the nation's capital, Windhoek. And this morning, I am your host, Helene Philippus Hamunyela. And joining me in the studio is the AG, the Auditor General, Mr. Kanjeke. And of course, he's here to shed more light on the mandate of the Office of the Auditor General. Now, you too can be part of this conversation by following the discussion on our social media platforms, where we are currently streaming this show live. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology, or alternatively, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. I'm keen to hear from you as to what contributions you have to make to this morning's discussion. Now, back to our discussion, AG, as we continue, I'd like to shift gears now to a constitutional provision and legal powers. As we turn to the legal framework, Namibia Constitution gives then the committees strong powers such as the ability to subpoena, if I hope I pronounced that correctly, witnesses in practice. How often are such powers exercised, and how do you believe these powers that we are referring to are used to effectively, implement in the Namibian context?
That power is in Article 59.
Article 59?
Yes,
okay.
of the Constitution.
All right.
Subsection 3, where they can subpoena anybody to come before the committee. See, the audit is not something based on a crime committed.
Right.
It's just to review whether the resources were used as per intended purpose. So if there's a violation or the opinion of the Auditor General is not that good regarding those financial statements, it can be an adverse, which is a better opinion. It can be a disclaimer where I say I cannot express my opinion because I don't know what's happening there. Or maybe it is a qualified opinion, which is also a better opinion. The committee will now call in, subpoena those who are charged with accountability to answer to questions, and then they will provide evidence that they have rectified the things or give reasons why they have not rectified the things. It could be, if it's financial, they will indicate that. If it is lack of capacity in terms of human resources, they will also indicate that. If it's merely incompetences, the accounts committee will all make their own judgment and take a resolution on the way forward.
All right. Now, AG, as we continue to acquaint ourselves with the mandate of your office, a very important office in this country, which is the Auditor General, I'm keen to know, because in most cases we hear of opinions from the Auditor General. You've mentioned qualified, you've mentioned some other things. Briefly, please, school us on this, very important pronunciations.
A very good opinion, normal will be, a clean opinion, will be unqualified.
Unqualified.
Yes.
So unqualified in this case is a positive one.
Yeah, is a positive one.
Okay.
Because I have not qualified my opinion, it is unqualified, is a clean report.
Okay.
And there are no issues there.
All right.
My findings found that the money we used for the purpose. Then there will be the qualified one, which is the negative opinion, not good opinion.
Okay. So the qualified one in this case?
Yeah, one time I was invited to one of the regional councils. They had a qualified opinion for 5 years, and they thought they should celebrate. They invited me to be part of the celebration. I said, no, I cannot join you because I want you to improve. Look at my basis for qualification.
Right.
You find that those bases are negative basis for the opinion. So that means when there is a qualification,